Action Group says Smith County has failed to keep its promises when it comes to voter-approved road improvements. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Blake Holland is showing us how this group is calling for more transparency and accountability tonight.
In Smith County Commissioner's Court, a call for transparency from Grassroots America, We the People.
Promises have not been kept.
Tom Fabry chairs the group's watchdog committee, which conducted an audit of the county's road bond projects, saying the plan promised to taxpayers is behind schedule and over budget.
It appears to be pretty obvious that the funding that was originally allocated is not going to be adequate to do the job.
The county's overhaul of roads was split into two voter-approved bonds, one for $39.6 million in 2017 and another for $45 million in 2021, supplemented by $13.5 million in taxpayer money.
It is time to right the ship, which is seriously off course.
The group's analysis finds $98 million in financial commitments has resulted in 478 miles of road improvement out of the 658 miles promised. They're now demanding a full public accounting.
We're always interested if someone has found fault in what we're doing, or found something that they're concerned about, and so we'll take that very seriously.
In response to Fabry's comments, County Judge Neil Franklin said engineer Frank Davis was already set to give an update on the projects at next week's meeting.
I knew that he had requested some information on that, so we had already planned for Frank Davis, who is our road engineer, to present to court today. We knew it wouldn't be a good day because we already had so many presentations, but we'll have him in court next week.
Fabry worries resources and the attention of the county engineer has been diverted to the new courthouse.
Grassroots America is not taking a shot at the county engineer. We actually have a great deal of respect for the county engineer and all of his team. This is a leadership issue. The leadership of the county has not forcefully figured out how to do the courthouse and fix roads at the same time.
I don't believe that's happening. I've been in the meetings with Frank Davis on the courthouse meetings as well, and he's spending a lot of time on the road projects as well. So hopefully we'll be able to understand a little bit better next week.
In Tyler, Blake Holland, KLTV 7 News.
We're now 19 months away from the end of the 6-year bond plan. In addition to a status update, the group is also asking county leaders to host a public workshop.